Strategic Hotbox with Dr. Brandi Love Stankovic. Discussing leadership, business, and how to take control of your life and achieve greatness. From the streets of Las Vegas, energized, informed, and never diluted. It's time to kick some ass.
Yo, 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 yo. It's your girl, Dr. Brandi Stankovic. I always say just hello and welcome, and I thought I'd shock the whole studio here and just be like, yo, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Welcome to Strategic Hotbox. Today we're going to talk about collaborating with competition. It's a good kind of, this is going to get your juices flowing. This one's going to make you think. And I have my new favorite friend, somebody that I've met on the road that I absolutely love, and you're going to love his messages as well. Remiah Trask is going to be here as our subject matter expert today. So let's get started. At the Strategic Hotbox, we learn, we love, and we kick ass. So today in learning, we're going to talk a little bit about collaboration, competition, what does that mean? And love, we'll spend some time with Remiah, and of course, we'll leave you with some kick-ass tools to start implementing today. When it comes to competition, when it comes to the people that are out there doing what you're doing, rarely do we think about, let's collaborate. Let's call them. Let's get together. And it almost seems counterintuitive in some ways to overall success. And why would we give our strategies or our secret sauce to the competitors? And however, in today's environment with so much information and with just kind of all the abilities to share, collaboration inside the organization as well as outside can have pretty impactful results. And I think that maybe survival of the fittest is losing its relevance. In a sense, we have got to be aware of our competitors and even working together to be the best we can be for our ultimate clients or the people that we're serving. So how do we collaborate alongside our competition? And when you do that, and when you think about collaboration, there is kind of studies out there, and we're starting to see results in the fact that it is driving innovation and revenue. It's creating more engaged employees, that people are attracting talent because they're a part of just really fast-moving organizations. And it creates a sense of business velocity. So things are moving at a fast pace. We're able to produce and implement ideas and growth very quickly. And some examples of that, or one of the examples of that I saw in doing some research and thinking about the podcast before we were here today, is with the NFL. So we're in the midst of football season, and we all know the NFL is a very competitive place, and the coaching that takes place with the athletes and the training camps is intense. And the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New England Patriots, as we know, two competitors in the same conference of the NFL, collaborated in joint practices and scrimmages during the preseason camp last year, so in 2017, and on January 21st of 18, so just at the beginning, the end of the season, that the teams face off against each other in the conference championship. And so it becomes this place of working together in the preseason actually bettered each team. So did the Jaguars lose in January? Sure they did, but are they a better organization with better players than they were a year before? Yes. And so by those teams collaborating, they actually kind of created a competitive spirit through that collaboration that brought both teams up. And you see this all over the place happening in a lot of different ways. So from a fintech standpoint or in technology, you may see it in data and analytic collaboration. So how can I take my data and share it with your data? And then we create these summaries or results or statistical analysis together. Or you might see it in augmented realities or simulations in business, and how people can work together to just better both organizations. So our guest, Remiah, is going to kind of open up and share his journey a little bit about building a business, as well as his realization about how competitors really are a resource as opposed to a hurdle to success. And he's helping people every day kick ass in lots of different ways, websites being one of them. And I've learned a little bit about that, and I'm certainly inspired by his messages that he's sharing. So let me tell you a little bit about him. Remiah Trask is the CEO of Design Baton Rouge. He has his bachelor's in information systems and decision sciences, and from Louisiana State University. He also has a passion for many things like music and piano and working out. He comes from a long line of entrepreneurs. His grandparents were entrepreneurs, his parents, and now he is here modeling the way as well. So join me in welcoming Remiah. Hello, Remiah. How are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Did you like my yo, yo, yo? Did it feel? No? Everyone's getting so much shit here at the... Thank you, Remiah. So I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm glad that you're here and you're on my side. Thank you. So tell us a little bit about your journey in leadership.
Well, so my journey in leadership actually started on the music side. As you said, I do have a passion for playing piano. I did not tell you this. I started off as a drummer.
Really?
I've been playing drums since I was 2 years old. And so my first time being in an actual band was in the eighth grade. So I had a tryout for beginner band, and of course, junior high band starts in sixth grade, but my first year going was eighth grade. And so I made the beginner band. I already knew I was going to play drums. I tried other instruments just for fun. But long story short, I ended up getting bumped up to advanced band by middle of the first year.
Wow.
And then not only that, we had principal chairs. I don't know how much you know about band and things like that, but you have like first chair, second
Hmm.
chair, and it's kind of like who's the best, basically. I challenged the guy who was the best drummer at the time, and I beat him. And so I
Wow.
became the first chair, the principal chair. And then the high school, actually, they had a Mardi Gras parade because we have Mardi Gras down here in Louisiana. Um, have you ever been to Mardi Gras?
I was just going to say, I hope he doesn't ask. What happens at Mardi Gras stays at Mardi Gras. Remiah, come
Okay, kind of
on.
like Vegas. We'll leave that there. They wanted me to march in the Mardi Gras parade, so
Oh,
they
cool.
sent me like all the cadences and I learned them. And so I got to march with the high school as an eighth grader. And then I went to high school the next year. And as a freshman, I became the drum captain,
Wow.
which is
Unheard
unheard
of.
of. And
Yeah.
I was a drum captain all 4 years of high school, and that's where my leadership came through. And then I went to college at LSU. I was in the drum line there as well.
Oh,
And
cool.
my junior year, I wasn't a freshman drum captain, but my junior year, I was a section leader. So that's where I learned my leadership skills.
That's
That's where I
amazing.
kind of got my start.
So I was in band also, and I was percussion. I played piano, so I played the xylophone bells, and
Okay.
I never made it to any sort of captain or anything. I was a low level nerd. We'll just go there. But I still remember my cadence. I feel like it's locked in my head forever.
Oh yeah, mine is too.
That's
That's
so
cool.
fun. So how do you define collaboration then, and how has it contributed to your success?
So collaboration is basically working with another person or another entity to get to a common goal. And the way it's really contributed to my success is I collaborate on many different things. You met me in a time of collaborating. I tagged along with a friend, but I gave him some value. I was like, you
Hmm.
know what, let me come with you, create some content for you. And that was just a collaborative journey. Um, but I really feel like you need other people to get to where you want to go. Like you can't do things alone. There are no self-made millionaires. You can't do it all by yourself. And then I also feel like this. For instance, I collaborate with other people who are in my city who are other web designers, and my mindset is everybody's not going to come to me to get their website built, and everybody's not going to go to them to get their website built. Like I can't get 100% of the business. It's not enough manpower. So how come we can't work together? Me
Hmm.
winning doesn't mean you have to lose,
Right.
and vice versa. So that's just my mindset about it. And I have this thing that I say, most people feel like you're coming to get a slice of their pie, but it's not like a slice of pie. It's like you got your own pie. You can create your own pie. You can cultivate your own market, cultivate your audience, and there's enough people in the world for everybody to win in business.
Absolutely. And how have you reached out? Have you had to, has it been all through your network or have you reached out to a competitor, kind of like a cold call?
I did reach out to a competitor. I actually saw a guy named Terry Simmons here in town. He's a little older than me, and I know him because I had a website with a credit union here in Baton Rouge, and I was going to renegotiate a deal, and they was basically like, we'll get back with you and let you know. And about 2 or 3 months later, I went to the website to look, and I saw his logo on the bottom. So I found out by default that he won the
Hmm.
bid and I didn't win the bid. And so for a couple of years, I kind of didn't like him,
Sure.
you know. And it was nothing personal. I never met the guy at that point, but it was like, man, you took my client.
Hmm.
But then I started watching him on social media and I noticed he was very inspirational. He was very positive. He had a positive message. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna reach out to him. because I think I could learn from him. I sent him a Facebook message and I told him I wanted to meet him. He scheduled a meeting with me. About 2 weeks later, I was at his office. We had a meeting. We sat down for about an hour and a half, and he really like ran the game down to me. And he's about 10 years older than me, and he was just telling me things, telling me strategies, how to get from one level to the next, the types of clients that I need to go after. I actually joined a trade organization off of his recommendation. He gave me three recommendations, and I'm going to do all three.
Wow.
And going to schedule another meeting with him. And I think he's going to become a mentor. So somebody who is a competitor, because he took one of my clients. And what's funny is just this week, I had a client, and they're on the books now, like they paid the deposit on this Saturday, was one of his clients.
Uh-oh.
And so the next time I get to talk to him, I'm gonna tell him that story. It's kind of like the little sweet revenge. Um, but that was pretty cool.
So when people or leaders that are listening and watching today, small businesses, entrepreneurs, or just individuals that are trying to grow in their own success, how can they go about it? Should they just kind of go for it, or how do they go about approaching their competitors?
I think you just kind of gotta go for it. I think first you bring value to the person some kind of way. You either show them some admiration, or you let them know, hey, I like what you're doing. I want to learn from you, and just don't be afraid to go for it. You think your natural reaction is you think they're gonna tell you, no, you a competitor.
Hmm.
I don't want to talk to you. But the truth of the matter is, people like to be admired, and people like to help other people.
Hmm.
There are some people who are not going to be like that, but for the majority, people like helping people.
Hmm.
And so I think just go for it. And I'll tell you this: there's actually a company. If you Google web design in Baton Rouge, you're going to see I'm in the top three. There's another company here that's in the top three as well, that they're called Modify. And we always have competitors. There's always times where somebody will meet with me and they tell me I'm going to meet with Modify. I never met the people at Modify, but I recently moved into this office this year, and I had to laugh because right across the street I see their
Oh
logo.
no.
I'm like, I moved across the street from Modify.
Modify. How funny is that?
So I've been wanting to walk over there and say, hey, I'm Design Baton Rouge.
Right.
One day I'm gonna walk over there, but I think you just do it.
Hmm. Just go for it. So is it in this collaboration that brought you from the drum line to becoming an entrepreneur?
Well, somewhat. So my first website, I'm gonna get from the drum line to, but I also play keys.
Hmm.
So the first website that I built was actually built for a friend of mine who is a musician, and we played music together. And he needed a website for his wife's organization. So it kind of bridged the gap. There's a lot of creativity. I think a lot of people that do creative work are also musicians. So there's a lot that goes to it. I don't know if we're using like our left side of the brain or the right
Hmm.
side. It's one of those sides we're using for the creativity. Um, but so it didn't really bridge the gap, but in a sense, I guess it kind of did.
That's interesting. I can't. It's cool to think and feel that people can use creativity in more ways than maybe just the original path that you're on. So if somebody's an athlete, being able to use that drive and leadership in other ways, or if somebody's a musician, be able to use that creativity in other ways.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to lead creatives,
So how
because you
can go ahead?
go ahead.
Yeah, how can somebody that maybe doesn't have the gumption or the I was gonna say the balls. Yeah, I was gonna say it, but then I like hesitated. I should just say someone that doesn't have the balls to walk across the street. What are some things that they could do that maybe might be a little easier to reach out or to apply to make them better?
Yeah, so you can always lead with value. I'm a Gary Vaynerchuk fan, and
Mm.
I believe in leading with value. So always you can send them a Facebook message, you can comment on one of their Facebook posts or Instagram posts or whatever social media platform they're on. If you have the email address, you can always find email addresses. You can send them an email. But I strongly believe in leading with value is a really good way to get in the door. Whatever that value is, whether it's offering to buy them coffee, or I actually offer Mr. Terry. I sent them the message. I said, I would love to take you out for coffee one morning, and I feel like I can learn from you. And I gave him many, many compliments, and I let him know that I want to learn from you, you know. So
Absolutely. And so when it comes to being creative in that way, you've talked about the different networks that you're going to get involved in, and you've talked about some of those growths. What are some things that you share if your competitors were to come to you? What would be, a value add that you might deliver to them? What are some things that are hot in creativity right now?
Well, a big thing for me right now is really listening to the customer, listening to the client, and finding out what their goals are. So believe it or not, I don't even really focus as much on the creative as I focus on listening to what you want. So I ask a lot of questions. If somebody comes to me for a website, I ask them, why do you need a website? And they'll tell me why. And I dig deeper. Why else? Why else? And I'm really getting to their root goal that they're trying to accomplish. And then we kind of go from there and find out what it is, how we're going to get there, what their target audience is. So those are some of the things that I try to help with other creatives. It's easy. I ain't gonna say easy, but a lot of people focus on, hey, this is my style. This is how I do things.
Right.
It's gonna look like this. Your meeting is talking about the look, but what good is the look if nobody sees it? What good is the look if it doesn't reach your primary target audience? So that's the biggest thing that I give to people when I talk to them.
I love that. And can you share a funny story with us?
I can share a funny story. So I have a project manager who's not here today. Her name is Bethany. So
Would she approve? Would she approve if she was there today, or just have to know?
She would approve.
Okay.
She would approve. We was in the office talking about some projects the other day, and I went to show her a website, and then you know how you just get the little wheel spinning and it won't load. And so I was like, I just started telling her, I said, this is so crazy and this is messed up. I was like, this is the thing that happens when you want to show something to a client, and this is the time that like your internet's not working right or something like that, and you just look and feel so embarrassed. And we're on this real big thing about affirmations right now. We do affirmations and we believe in speaking positive, but also if you speak negative things will manifest as well. Sure. So I spoke that about that being embarrassed or whatever. And we had a client meeting that same day, maybe 2 or 3 hours later. And I told to the clients, I said, hey, check this out. And I clicked the website and it started spinning. And she was in the room too. She was in the meeting and I looked at her, I was like, it's happening, And so that was hey, be careful what you speak.
Yeah, no doubt. Talking shit, and it comes full circle. And also, was she in the back of the room, just like, yeah, see, that'll teach you.
She was.
So, tell us a bold action item or something to take away for the people watching and listening today.
Okay, so a bold action item is this. Don't be afraid to take action. And I know it's an action item and I'm using the word action, but don't be afraid to do something. If you get an idea, if you have a crazy thought or just something, if you were inspired by something that are part of this conversation, I would suggest to you that you go do it like today, right now, today, as soon as you finish watching this. Go do it, because a lot of times fear is going to set in, procrastination is going to set in, and you'll end up not doing it. So my thing is to move now, act now. Even if you make mistakes, who cares? You make a mistake and you get better the next time, but you got to get started.
Absolutely. Take action. That's so important. So how can people get a hold of you to learn more about you, social, online? Okay,
so the best way to reach me, everything is at Remiah Trask. So you can do either by Facebook or Instagram are the easiest 2 ways to reach me, or you can also reach me at the website is designbatonrouge.com.
I love that you're sporting your own brand there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's really cool, and it makes it where that becomes your business card then.
Absolutely.
That's great. So thank you so much for sharing your success and stories and journey and challenges that you've overcome with us today. It's good to see you again, and I'm sure I'll see you really soon.
All right, Brandi. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's head out to our shout out.
I am Bernard Tan from Singapore PayPal Innovation Lab. Shout out to Randy and the leaders for being here in Singapore. Welcome to Singapore.
Thank you to the friends at the PayPal Innovation Lab in Singapore. That was a pretty intense experience to be there and to learn about all the things that they're doing and what's to come in the world of technology. So thank you to you for the shout out. And thanks to Remiah for being here with us and talking a little bit about what he has done along the way to reach out to his competitors and to create success. So now it's time to kick some ass. Here's your top 5. First is to identify those competitors. And I think that this one seems obvious, but it's an important one. Often as leaders, as people that are progressing, we forget to be uber clear on who our competitors are. So some businesses do it naturally because there's people that are stealing business or people that are on top of you on the Google search results. But when it comes to your competitors, think outside the box when it comes to competitors as well. It might not be the exact same business doing the exact same thing, but these are people that are serving your clients to get them to your goal, to get them to their goals. And competitors can come in all forms and fashion and same from a leadership standpoint. So even if you aren't running a business and you're working within a business, who are the people that are your competitors, maybe for your position, people that are competitors for different projects that you want to be working on? Identify who they are and understand the value that they have. In previous podcasts, you probably heard us talk a little bit about the NHL and how one of the benefits of having the Vegas Knights in their first year was that no one had any tapes. But when it comes to your competitors, the majority of time, there's going to be the metaphoric tapes out there that you can review and how those players are good or how those businesses are running and the things that they do really well. So if you happen to lose business to a competitor or a client, from a client that you're working with and you lose business to another competitor, ask the client why. Ask them to get to know, ask those questions so that way you can really identify and understand. Number 2 is to get over your own ego. When it comes to business, when it comes to growth, we've got to be able to recognize that we're not always the best, that we're not always going to be number one. And once that we recognize or think that we are, that's when it's probably time that you'll be falling down from grace or somebody is quickly coming and racing hard behind you. So being able to get over ourselves and ask and get out with the competition. Number 3 is recognize greatness. I loved that Remiah shared stories of how they're doing affirmations and inspiration with each other, how they're building mentor relationships with some competitors. When greatness is out there, don't be afraid to be humble and say that person is great. And so you're identifying that they might be competing with you on some business, but they're also really good at what they do. And how are they going to be able to make you better? Number 4 is to be and foster authenticity. I think that business today really requires that, whether it's your social media messaging, the way that you're giving, to yourself, or getting to the ultimate goal of the client, as Remiah shared with us. It's being who you are and authentic to what you want to serve is going to be so important. And number 5 is the balance, the give and take. I love the idea that Remiah shared as far as going in with a value add, going in with a what's in it for them. When you meet a competitor, you step outside. How are you going to provide value to them? What's the purpose for them to be there? Make it easy for people. I'll have people reach out to me from time to time asking for mentorship or coaching or thoughts or whatever. And then they'll make it so difficult to read with them that I want to do it. But then that I'm having to work within all these schedules and all this stuff. And then it's becoming this thing where I feel like the burden of working with somebody, as opposed to if somebody were to come to me or I go to other people, making it as easy as possible. I want to buy you a cup of coffee, as Remiah shared, or I want to meet with you here and create that value add for the person. So it becomes a no-brainer to create that collaboration, because then we can both be the best we can be. There's your top 5. Kick ass. Thank you again to Remiah for being part of the podcast today. And thank you to my friends in Singapore for the shout out. And for all of you out there that are really kicking ass and trying to do better and be more. If you want some additional tools or things that we talked about here on the podcast today, of course, you can head out to the website. One of the things that's out there that I wanted to mention is something called a leadership detox. So if you're looking for just a really easy way to shake things up and just stir it up and start thinking about how you can accomplish goals for the rest of the year or in preparation for the years to come, then head out and do a little detox. It's time to detox your leadership a little bit. And we've got the tools out there for you to download and do that. So if you want to hit us up on social media, we'd love to hear from you on topics that you want us to tackle here on the Hot Box. So you can go to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook at Strategic Hot Box or at Brandi Love, BRANDILUV. So thank you for being a part of the Hot Box community. Until I see you again, get out there and kick some ass.